Whether you're wearing gym shorts, jogging pants, or dress slacks, sometimes you want a knife that won't weigh your pocket down. The good news is you don't have to give up good steel, solid ergos, or everyday usability to get there. Today, we're going to look at 7 lightweight knives that weigh 2.5 ounces or less, and every one of them is a knife that I'd actually recommend carrying from personal experience. So let's jump right into it, and we're going to start out with the CIVIVI Baby Banter 2. This comes in with a 2.34-inch blade of Nitro V steel. This model has aluminum scales, and it comes in at 2.32 ounces. Now, that will not necessarily be the same across all of the scale materials, but the aluminum one here is 2.32 ounces. Now, this is a blade that is probably on here mostly because of its size, and not so much because they were aiming for lightweight per se, but it is an awesome fifth pocket option. And unlike a lot of fifth pocket knives, thanks to its crossbar lock, it is extremely fidgety as well. Now, despite its diminutive size, thanks to the forward troll, you can also get a full four-finger grip on this one. So you can use it like a full-size knife, but it carries so much easier in your pocket. And it does all that for well under $100, as this typically comes in around $80, though at the time of recording, it's actually on sale for $60, which I think is an absolutely killer deal. And that is the CIVIVI Baby Banter 2. Next, we're going to go with something that is a bit more of a classic design as far as its age, and that is the Spyderco Delica 4 Lightweight. Now, this comes with a 2.9-inch blade, and this one comes in K390 steel, although the base model comes in VG10. Now, this has FRN scales, so FRN is fiber reinforced nylon, and the weight on this is 2.4 ounces, so it just makes it in under that 2.5 ounce cutoff. Now, this has come in a wide variety of steels and scale options, and I'm not going to run over them because don't have the time to do that in this video, but suffice to say, there are a lot of scale and steel options out there for this one. Now, this is a classic lightweight option. It has been in Spyderco's lineup for a long time, and it is an absolute staple in the lineup. In fact, it's a knife that a lot of other knives are compared to when they are released. Now, it's a proven design that's been around for decades, and it just straight up works. And that also means that it has plenty of aftermarket support as well as far as hardware or scales. Now, the backlock is not all that fidgety. I am not a big backlock person, but it makes up for that in the robustness of the design. It is going to lock in absolutely solid. You're not going to have really any problems with this coming loose. This is going to be a very, very secure lock. Now, the full flat grind makes this super slicey, and despite the fact that I'm not usually a fan of FRN, the ergos on this are surprisingly good for a knife this light and sleek. As you can see, I can get a full four-finger grip on this one. Now, the K390 in this model, it is an awesome balanced tool steel with impressive edge retention. Now, it is not stainless, although it does have some corrosion resistance. The base model in VG10 can usually be found around $100, which is a great price for a Japanese manufactured Spyderco. The K390 that I have here usually comes in around $140, which I think is still reasonable for that high end of a steel. And that is the Spyderco Delica 4 Lightweight. Now, next we're going to go with a little bit more of a recent, more modern design, and that is the Kizer Drop Bear 2. And this comes with a 2.96-inch Nitro V steel blade. And this has canvas micarta scales, and there are a lot of different options for scale materials on these. And this comes in at 2.43 ounces. Now, this is the lightest iteration of the Drop Bear 2, and it comes in just under the weight cutoff. There are quite a few other designs with different, or versions of this with different scale materials that actually don't make it, but this particular one does. And it takes the well-established drop bear design and trades the clutch lock for a button liner lock on this one. and it's still fidgety and arguably more reliable than the crossbar lock because it doesn't rely on omega springs, which are kind of the weak link in that design. Now the scales are well contoured and they're just grippy enough. They're not like super rough where they're going to rough up your hand, but they're also not slick where you're going to lose grip on the knife. And you can use the front choil here as a finger choil. I have kind of fat fingers, so it's not ideal for me. But especially if you have smaller fingers than I do, that would be good. But even not choked up, I can still get a full 4-finger grip on this. So either way, it works really well. Now the clip point blade, it's one of those designs that people either love or they hate as far as a blade shape. I do like the fact that it is great for piercing tasks, and the Nitro V steel should help prevent the tip from chipping, which is usually one of the concerns with a clip point blade. So as long as you're not abusing or misusing it, you really shouldn't have to worry about that too much. And at around $60, this is the most affordable option on the list, and I think that is an unbeatable value. And that is the Kizer Drop Bear 2. Next, we're going to go with something a little different, and that is an automatic knife. And that is the Protech Newport. And this comes with a 3-inch blade of S35VN steel and aluminum scale. So there's some high-end materials here. And this comes in at 2.1 ounces. So it is a very, very light automatic. And this is by far the lightest and sleekest automatic that I own. It also has one of the snappiest actions, as I'm sure you can see. It just flies out of there. Now, with its streamlined appearance and lightweight, this is actually my go-to when I want to carry a dressier automatic knife. They make a lot of variants, including some that have exotic materials like tiger coral as an insert, and also mammoth tooth inlays. And they also make versions with Damascus steel as well. So there's a lot of different options for this. But my base model here ran $180, and really for an American-made auto in S35VN steel, I think that's really a hard to beat. And the lightweight is just kind of a cherry on top. And that is the Protech Newport. Now next up, this is going to be one of the thinnest options, actually the thinnest option, and that is the Vosteed Parallel. This is a 2.9-inch blade of S35VN steel, so we're going with S35VN again here, and these are titanium scales. And this comes in at 2.36 ounces, so just under our cutoff, and this has the thinnest handle of any knife on this list. You can see that is incredibly thin. And it also has the thinnest blade stock at 0.079 of an inch, so it is an extremely slicey blade profile. And it is tied for the thinnest blade stock on this list, and we'll get to that here in a bit. But I honestly, when I got this, I could not believe how thin this knife was. It is just insanely thin. But it doesn't sacrifice in the action to get there because it is still extremely fidgety. You can see flies out of there, drop shut, and there's absolutely no blade play in getting it drop shut like that. Now, the one downside to that thinness is if you are using this for extended periods of time, it's just going to dig into your fingers. So that is something to consider. But the trade-off with that is just how easily it disappears into your pocket because it is lightweight and it is also super thin. So you could very easily forget that this is in your pocket. And at about $150 for the S35VN steel and titanium scales, or $130 if you go for one of the 154 cm steel models. I think it's a solid value for the materials and the form factor because, again, this is one of the thinnest knives available out there, period, not just in my collection. And that is the Vosteed Parallel. So next up, we're going to have the knife that is tied for the thinnest blade stock, like I was talking about, and that is the Spyderco Chaparral or Chaparral. I'm not sure 100% on the pronunciation of that, but this has a 2.8-inch blade of CTS XHP steel. And it has FRN scales, which again are one of those things you either love or you hate, but they are great for keeping it lightweight. And this comes in at 2.1 ounces, so it is pretty safely under our limit there. Now, when I mentioned that the Parallel was tied for the thinnest blade stock, like I said, this is the blade that it was tied with. You can see it is a very thin, slicey blade stock. And you're combining that with the ultra thin blade stock with a full flat grind. So this is going to be one of the best slicers that you can get out there. Now it is a bit thicker in the handle than the Parallel. I'll just bring those up so you can compare. They're pretty similar, but the Chaparral is definitely going to be a little bit thicker. But to me, that's not a bad thing because it actually makes it more comfortable for extended use. And the backlock, as I mentioned, I can give or take that on knives. But again, it does give you a very secure lockup and it's going to be a very, very sturdy action. Now, this will come in at about $130, which for a solid steel like CTS XHP and that Spyderco pedigree, where you know it is going to be heat treated just about to the optimal level. If you want to get a true slicer, this is a hard one to pass up, and that is the Spyderco Chaparral or Chaparral. And last but not least, and this is one that everybody is probably waiting for, and no list of lightweight knives is complete without it, and that is the Bugout, or in my case, the Mini Bugout. Now, this has a 2.82-inch blade, and mine is S90V, but the standard model comes in S30V. The scales on mine are actually wood scales from Make Tech Create, which is a friend of the channel. He makes some awesome knife scales. But it comes stock with Grivery scales, or Grivery, however you want to pronounce it. Now, for both the aftermarket scales and the Grivery scales, mine came in at 1.5 ounces, and I verified that on my scale. So these, despite being wood, these scales are actually incredibly light. Now, for years now, when somebody recommends a folder, when somebody wants a lightweight folder, the Bugout, or the Mini Bugout in my case, is the reflexive response, and it makes sense. Nowadays it has more competition, but it is still kind of the golden standard for a lightweight knife. And where it truly sets itself apart is the aftermarket and the customization options, as you can see here. I don't think there's another knife this light that you can customize to near the level of Benchmade's aftermarket. Now, this is truly a knife that you can mold into what you want it to be. Mine morphed into a lightweight gentleman's knife, as you can see. Now, you will pay a premium for this because the base price for a Mini Bugout is going to be about $175, and that is with S30V and the Grivery scales. Now, mine here, when I ordered it, cost me $225, and that's because I ordered it through their custom shop just to get the S90V steel. So when I got this, it had the Grivery scales, but it had the S90V steel instead of the S30V. And last time I checked, you can also get Damas steel as an option for that. So that's something to check out as well. But if you want to tinker and make a lightweight knife your own, I don't think that there's a better lightweight knife for that than the Benchmade Bugout or Mini Bugout. So, at the end of the day, the best knife is the one that you will actually carry. And sometimes being lightweight is the difference between a knife staying on your dresser or going in your pocket. And that's really the biggest advantage that these knives offer. When a knife is comfortable, unobtrusive, and easy to carry, you're far more likely to have it with you when you actually need it. Now, whether you prefer a classic design like the Delica, something ultra thin like the Chaparral or Parallel, or a modern design like the Drop Bear 2 or the Mini Bugout, there's a lightweight knife out there that fits your style and your budget. Now, let me know down in the comments, what is the lightest knife in your collection? And do you prefer lightweight knives, or do you prefer something with a little bit more heft? And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next video.